Rub-a-dub-dub, indeed. It is the Super Soaker. I'm Ben Rogers. That's Jeff Skin Wade. Skin, how you doing?
Ben, I'm in a great mood. This is a very special Super Soaker because it's the final Soaker of 2024. And it's already off to a great start because we have good folks that are in the comment section talking about breakfast beer. And the Cookies and Cream War Daddy is an outstanding breakfast beer. You know, our friend Gary that comes up to the brewery from Boston that looks like he's still a bouncer. He's gigantic and he breaks your hand when he shakes it. Every Sunday, he'll send a picture of whatever stout he's drinking on Sunday morning with breakfast tacos. So, yes, we are experts when it comes to breakfast beer, and Cookies and Cream War Daddy is the one for you.
Yes. That's exciting. Lots of exciting things happening at Roller Town. Man, thank you guys. Thank you guys for supporting us. This is our big season finale. And look at that coffee cup. Is that the same thing as the poster?
No, this is a different one. This is the number of the beast with Eddie. The one in the background's Killers.
Is
But
that
yeah, man, I always like thinking about Satan when I drink coffee.
satin?
What is that, Satin?
So here's what we need from you guys. You guys already do so much by supporting us and being here. However you got here, if you're watching this on YouTube, if you're watching this on Twitter or on Facebook, there's a couple ways you can help us just by hitting the like button, leaving a comment that fluffs the evil algorithm and will offset Satan being on Skin's coffee cup.
Yeah, it happens.
But if you share the link, that helps us even more. Like let's watch how big this count gets at this point. There's 250 people in here right now.
Okay.
And let's see if we can get it to 750 or 1,000 or 1,250 by the end of this. And what we need is everybody who's engaged with it right now to share it, hit the like button, comment, those types of things. All of that helps. Like, how do you think you say this? Is this Chris G. German, do you think? I mean, I recognize him. I know he's a supporter. He's family. But is that...
That's the dude whose son is a badass wide receiver.
Oh, really? Where?
So I don't know where he went to college. Was that way in there, Chris? I think his name is pronounced Chris. It's really hard when there's not a vowel between the S and the G.
Okay.
Rice. Okay, his son went to Rice.
Okay. There you go.
See, that's the beauty. You're right. You always talk about that. That's the beauty of the comment section. We break college football news that has already been broken because of the interaction right there in the comment section.
Yeah, I mean, we could pre-record this and just air it whenever, but we specifically recorded at 10 a.m. on Tuesday and Thursday so we can interact with you guys in the comments. So, like, screen I'm looking at right now, it has our beautiful faces, and then right off to the right, every single comment, so we can see every single comment that you're making.
Have you showered yet?
No.
Me neither.
I got an underbeard thing. I gotta shave.
You should keep that, dude.
Actually, I don't think so. I don't like neck beard.
This is my bed hair, but I did like try to push a lot of the alfalfa in the back down. Because
Yeah.
it'll be all sticking up. Oh man, God, look at that girl. I'd smash that like button.
You'd smash. You have smashed. You've had it.
I wish your hair was a like button so I could smash it.
I'm always trying to find new ways to reinvent it.
Smash?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Strip Mall Steve will be joining us soon. There's a quick update. He has not showered in months. Sicko Steve. I like that. That's good. But this is the season finale. You know, we've been through a lot with our radio career. We've been on this wild ass journey, and a lot of you have been on for much of that. Whether we started at the Ticket in 02, 01,
That sounds right.
little Mavs post game show.
Yeah.
Live 105.3 for, I guess we go back even Fox Sports 1190 before the Ticket
I don't even think that was a real station.
with Gribble as our boss, and they were
Gribble
worried
and
about
Fish.
making payroll.
Yeah.
And then Live 105.3, first full-time radio gig, that switched into the Fan. They brought in Big B. We had to run for our lives. We ran to Frito, rest in peace, at ESPN. We're there for that amazing journey. Mavs championship, back-to-back World Series for the Rangers, and back to the Fan. Then they brought in the guys who wanted to get rid of all the fun, no songs, no bits, no pranks, no intros, all that stuff. We were like, let's get the fuck out. Made it to the Eagle, started the Freak. They ended the Freak, which was their prerogative, their sandbox, but that hurt. And then back at the Eagle, and a lot of you guys have been on this journey with us the whole time, and thank you for that. Now, this incarnation of it is one of the things I'm most excited about. The YouTube channel and putting out video content. And this is a brave new world for us. We don't really know how all of this stuff works. We're kind of learning about it on the fly. And we see the value in live streaming because we can interact with you guys. We see the value of doing it at 10 a.m., but we don't know. Maybe it's better to do at night. Maybe it's better to do earlier. We just don't know. Maybe you don't need to do a live stream, but we're figuring all this out, and we hope y'all are digging it. And the only way this will grow is if you get out there and tell people about it and say it's great if you think it's great. And so anyways, I guess just to put a bow on this, I'm super excited about the future of our YouTube channel, and I'm looking forward to 2025. And what would you say in terms of teasing, what could be with this channel?
I think we're going to revert back to the written word. Look for a series of books that we will just do short vignettes on our YouTube channel to promote our new books.
Yes.
Man, I'm always impressed by anyone who could write a book. Like, I got lots of ideas. I just don't have the time or the organizational skills to get it all down. I mean, just sit down and just type all that. It's amazing, man. That takes a lot of work.
Last night, I was driving home from our iHeart Christmas party, and
by the way, dude, that was fun.
It was fun.
I had a really good time. Thank you for all those drink tickets.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. I had a lot of fun as well, and I was driving home, and I was just switching around the stations, and I got to hear the great Landry Locker, who's filling in on the ticket, I think, for the midday show.
Oh.
Excuse me. And so they were, I think it was maybe the mix that they were doing with Corby. And Corby was talking about the United Healthcare killer, how he had a 400-page manifesto.
It was that long?
Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive.
And Corby was like, I can't imagine anything I'm that passionate about that I would write 400 pages about. And I thought about Frito having a manifesto.
Dude, you know what saved Frito's life? Well, that's a weird thing to say since he passed away. What saved Frito's life in his early 20s was getting a job in talk radio, because he was headed down that path. He had full manifestos that he shared with us that really made us uncomfortable flying with him. He was a nail chewer for sure, man. And then talk radio with Norm calmed him down.
Yeah. He was going to be outraged over something no matter what.
Yes. He was going to be waiting outside a hotel like John Hinckley and Luigi.
Yeah. And I was just thinking about, like, this day and age, our attention spans are so short. We don't want to read anything. I know, like 400 pages of a guy just outraged about one thing or something. I'm like, man, I know it's important, but my attention span now is so small. I don't even want to read my own posts.
Yeah. Whenever I read all your tweets, unless it says something about toilet reading, and then I just, I'm sure this is amazing.
Who has time?
AI button, and it can just insert the thoughts into my head.
God, I know. I don't have time for that. And I was thinking about this over the holiday, because this is, today is my last show of the year. Not only for the Super Soaker, but our show today. And tomorrow, you guys are going to be at the Pluckers in Plano. So if you guys want to hang out with the show, go join the crew at Pluckers in Plano.
Come on out and join us. Man, the Pluckers in Plano is always great. There's always a good crowd sitting up there at the bar.
But I was thinking about like reading over the holidays. And then I was like, what are some of the most important books I could read right now? And then I just got exhausted thinking about it. And I was like, you know what? I'll just watch the final days of TikTok. By the way, they're getting rid of TikTok, right?
I didn't know that was official. I thought that was going to be decided in January. Is it happening sooner than that?
No, I think you're right.
Okay. I don't even have time to keep up with the short attention span story of TikTok. I don't know the exact date. Who could know? Who could know these things?
Right. There are quite a few things that I want to get into today. And while we're on this thread, we should probably talk about this in terms of social media. The thing that I'm seeing that's grabbing my attention the most, and maybe that's why it is being power fed to me by the algorithm, is because they're like, look, this idiot is looking at this nonstop. You want to guess what it is?
Tits.
Always that, but no.
Tits while someone's shoving food in their mouth.
That's always awesome. Also, I wish
Yeah.
I could do a split screen of that. My eyes would be like, I don't know what to watch.
One eye goes this way and one eye goes that way. And then you
One
just,
dog's looking over here. This dog's.
what do you want from me?
What do you want from me? Hey, what do you want from me? It looks like
well-
our friend.
Yeah. You've been reading on I think you're probably getting a lot of healthcare information because you're so infatuated with that story.
I am infatuated with that story, but that story is. This is. First of all, just the ways I'm fascinated by social media. Here is an execution that happens on camera. We all watch it. We're so desensitized to it. We're like, oh my God, look, that guy got assassinated.
Yeah.
And we immediately act like we're watching a movie. And then it's like, okay, who done it? Let's find the guy. And then because the way the country feels about our terrible healthcare system, where it's like, we pay all this money, and then when we need help, it's rarely available to us. And, you see how much money we spend on healthcare, how we have the worst healthcare of any of the countries that actually, have healthcare. And so there's not a lot of sympathy for a guy that got executed in cold blood on the street. And now people are trying to GoFundMe for the assassin to help his legal fees. And it's just like, man, this is such a weird time on so many levels. And to me, it's exacerbated by what is happening on Twitter, which used to be a safe and reliable place, I think, kind of, to go get news and information. And now it is just a fucking cesspool. And you don't know what's real and what's not real, which brings me to the thing that I keep seeing. And that is, and I've been talking about it a little bit. What's the day you were in Oklahoma City?
Tuesday.
Okay, so on Tuesday's show, I was like, "Hey, KT, it was very much like Ric Flair."
And he was on a train and that's the pay line.
He was probably talking, making a great point about something I should have been focused on. And I was like, "Are you following these New Jersey Drones?" By the way, it'd be a good name for a sports franchise.
The New Jersey Drones.
Yeah.
That's great.
The Drones of New Jersey. These drones, and some report, and this is the thing, I don't know what the fuck is real. I don't know. They're like, some of the drones are the size of cars. Look at this headline. Mystery drones flying over New Jersey have residents and officials puzzled.
See,
And
you can trust that lib outlet that is NPR, but I do not trust Jason Breslow.
So these stories are everywhere, and it's like terrible pictures of lights in the sky. I don't know what's real. And then you'll see, oh, look, here's a guy talking about it, and he was on a news show. I don't know what show that was.
Mm-hmm.
And there's all these theories. Is it kids just being idiots, pranking? That's something that we would have loved to have done back in the day. Look, let's get our drones in the sky and get everybody freaked out about it.
Right.
Are they kids pranking adults? Are they, I saw some reports that, oh my God, it's the U.S. government themselves, and they're up there monitoring at night for a potential nuclear outbreak. And that's why they're there, and they can't talk about it because they don't want people to be worried. Then I saw, oh, they're Iranian, and Iran got them from China, and so they should be shot down immediately. And I'm like, you're suggesting that? That means people are just going to be out, like,
Right.
And so I honestly have no idea what is real and what isn't, but my entire timeline is filled with people's shaky camera footage of these drones in the sky. And if you start shooting them down, what are they going to fall on? And I don't know. It just seems, I thought this story would go away, but it is not going away. So you're probably following it in a similar way that I am, where you don't really know that much about it, but you're aware of it. So what do you think this is?
Okay. I'm following it with complete apathy and disinterest. And here's why. So over the course, so when I was a kid, I loved UFO stuff, right? Loved it. And the pop. I mean, we were what you and I were like 7 when Close Encounters came out, right? That's like mind altering stuff. Star Wars was great, but Close Encounters, that was real. I never looked at mashed potatoes the same. And then I got into junior high and started reading a lot of great mystery books and UFO stuff, and it was amazing. And then we graduated from high school and we went into the rap scene. And I read the classic conspiracy book, Behold a Pale White Horse, about the Illuminati and the secret government. And it was written by this guy named Cooper, who was like a CIA guy. And then, he's building this whole thing. And it's incredible about the history of the world and secret governments. And then with about 30% left in the book, suddenly it's an alien story with a giant spaceship coming out of the ocean. I was like, wait, what the fuck, man? What a hard left turn you took. I can't believe all this other conspiracy stuff you gave that was perfectly legitimate, because now a spaceship shoots out of the water. That's totally stupid. So anyways, my whole point is that there's all this stuff that you can kind of like follow. And then we got into the internet age, and there was all these like videos you could watch that real pilots took of spacecraft and all this stuff. And then we had hearings and all this stuff, and literally nothing ever came out of any of it. And there's all this, like, some politician will go, one day I'll break the code, and then they never do. And so it's like, I'm 53, and in my conscious life of like thinking about things, I got 4 decades of thinking about spaceships and aliens, and which literally nothing has happened. There's no proof of anything. It's just a big sideshow. And then like a year ago, me and the wife were walking the dogs, and it's like, what is that spider light floating in the sky? My God, it's finally that is a spaceship, right? No, Elon is just shooting more satellites into the world so that rural regions can get the internet. And so at that point, when I was like, that's for the internet, I just completely checked out and lost all interest. And so until ET walks through my fucking front door and high fives me, I've lost interest. I've seen drone things before that blew my mind, and then found out the next day it was a church social. So I can't focus or concentrate on any of it until an alien high fives me. That's when I'll go back and cross the threshold and be like, oh, badass, all of this stuff did matter. Until then, I'll just assume it's Chinese weather balloons, right?
Okay. I do think ET is going to walk through your living room, but he's not going to high five you. He's going to probe your butthole.
Nice.
Because I think that's what they always do. That's like, they always want to get in there up that butthole and see what's going on. I don't know why they're so fascinated with buttholes, but
right.
I guess it makes sense in some ways. Anyways, I would love to know in the comments of all there's 449 people here right now. Do you think they are domestic, foreign, or alien?
Oh,
domestic, foreign, or alien? And if you want to add in, should we be worried about this or should we not be worried? It's one of those stories where, hey, it's either the end of everything we know or it's nothing. You know what I mean? It's either aliens are finally here or it's just some kids goofing off. Anyways,
I love the idea of a game show that KT could put together called Domestic, Foreign, or Alien.
Right.
That'd be fun, right?
Right. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot of comments here. People are weighing in. Look at this. A lot of domestics. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so we have 466 people tuned in here right now. I want to see how many people, you guys who are here, of you 466, share the link. Invite your friends to come join us. Let's get more people to the party. We've got a great show planned for you. It is our big season finale for 2024. We're coming back in 2025 with a lot of surprises and new interesting twists. We're very excited about all of this. But before we really get the show going, you told me a funny story about your son, and you don't have to share that if you don't want to, but it made me want to give you updates on all 3 of my kids. So you're welcome.
Let me hear it. I want to hear your kid update first.
Okay. My kid updates are this. I've got 3 kids. They're 19, 17, and soon to be 14. Tomorrow, Grace turns 14.
Hey.
And yeah.
That's her and Taylor Swift share the same birthday, right?
That's exactly right.
Cool.
That's exactly right. And so I'll just go in order of age. My son is in town from college, and the first thing he did, I don't know if I had a chance to tell you this. I'm old, so I tell people the same stories over and over, you know?
Oh, you've always done that.
Okay, I did that when I was younger too. And Max walked in, long road trip, all the way from Alabama. He gets here and he comes in, he gets situated, he takes a shower, got dressed, came down and made himself a cocktail.
Okay. Oh, wait. And is he 19 yet? He just turned 19, right?
Just turned 19. And so it's a nice highball glass. He had some kind of a peach bourbon that he likes called Bird Dog or something that he's like, it's super cheap, but it's really good.
Oh,
and he made some cocktail with it. And it has a Lux ice cube in it because we have, so he just sits down like a sophisticated, 32-year-old just having a cocktail to unwind himself.
All right.
And he's like, hey, so what's been going on? I'm like, dude, what? And so I don't know what the rules are. I mean, this is uncharted waters for us. And so Kat and I are like, Kat goes, oh, Max, it's just like this now. And so I was thinking about, I overheard him say this to someone. They asked him how college was. And he said, it's like being a sanctioned alcoholic, but your parents are still proud of you. And he's got a 4.0. And he's like, Dad, Alabama's not hard. So he's got a 4.0. He's not having a hard time getting grades, but he's drinking a lot. And I was just thinking about it in the big picture. Those 10 years you're in college, or those 3 or 4 years you're in college, whatever it is for most people, you probably drink more than you've ever had. But he wants to, go be a lawyer afterwards. And so I'm trying to explain to him, nobody's going to want to hire a lawyer who's hammered, and nobody's going to want to hear about your fun college drinking story. So have fun now, but just know this is only a small period of your life. And if you fly too close to the sun, you will get addicted to alcohol and it will ruin your whole life. So try to have some, I don't know. I want him to have some perspective, but you can't have a perspective of the whole thing when you're that age.
I mean, they all got to learn. Even the stuff you tell them, they'll tuck it away and go, okay, cool. And then they'll go like 15 years later and go, oh yeah, shit, they were right. I mean, that's that's why we keep redoing these same things over and over and over. They're just, they're patterns, right? They're grids, and everyone goes through the grids and the pattern and learns it for themselves. Some people are wise beyond their years and can see things because they had experiences when they were young where they saw it or whatever. But we have raised our kids. I'm sure you're just like us. I mean, you and I are co-owners of a brewery. We've raised our kids where social drinking is perfectly acceptable and, in fact, a part of a lifestyle. So I think the real talk that you need to have with your son is, son, fruit-flavored whiskey, what are you doing?
Dude, I like it. I like it.
Right.
You know what, man? I actually like that. He was mixing it with sweet tea. I'm like, holy shit, I love this. There was about a 4-year period I was drinking Fireball and sweet tea, which was like diabetes at a cocktail. And later I heard him, he had some friends over and they were watching the Cowboy game the other day. And I was sitting at a table kind of behind them in the dining room. And I heard him go, look, he was telling his friends, look, I either want to contend for a championship or I want the best possible draft pick. Anything in between is a wasted year. And I was like, I'm so proud. I'm so proud. I'm so proud. Anyways, that's what's going on with him. With Miles, he doesn't like to leave his room. He just wants to play video games. And he's got his own ideas about what rules and stuff are. Like, so he's got this big sticker on his car that says you can't park here. I just went outside. It was like a whole side window. It's like it's like a parking ticket, but it's a warning.
Okay.
And Kat goes, yeah, you're going to see that sticker on Miles's car. He gets warnings every day because he refuses to go pick up his parking pass that I paid for. And he's like, doesn't want to go get it. And I said, well, tell his ass to go get it. And she said, oh, he thinks it's ridiculous that students have to pay to park. I'm like, we already paid for it. Go take your ass and go get the pass and put it on your car. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's what
you need to tell him the story. Make sure to tell him the story of the guy that's on his front lawn yelling at the IRS that Texas was never annexed, and so he doesn't have to pay taxes as they take all his shit away.
Yeah, right.
Hey, you can't do that. Texas was never annexed. They're like, cool. Thanks for the couch and the cars and all of your possessions, dumbass. Go yell at the clouds and let me know how that works out for you.
Yeah. And so with my daughter, you know, she'll be 14 tomorrow. Like I said, she's very into basketball, which I love, and I'm doing everything I can not to push her. She doesn't want my advice on anything. But I enjoy watching her play, and I'm really proud of her. And she's so good and so committed to it. She's got a chance to, you know, to play high school ball, and we'll see what happens. But she doesn't interact with us a whole lot. Like, she walks from her room and our way out to get picked up by someone to go somewhere. She's like, "Bye, I'm going to church," or "Bye, I'm going to the mall," or "Bye."
Right.
You know, I'm just like, what? That's all we get. Like, we got like one word, and so I'm trying to figure all that out. And also, she doesn't like pictures of her, and so she took some pictures for her basketball team. They had a real photographer come take the pictures, and they're amazing. It's like my favorite picture of her I've ever seen. And I was like, "Can I post this on social media?" I always ask.
Mm-hmm.
And I've learned that from you. You do that too.
Yep.
And I'm like, "Hey, can I post this on social media?" And she says, "No, absolutely not." And I was like, "Why not?" She goes, "My friends follow you on Instagram." And I'm like, "They do?" She goes, "Yeah, I don't want that." She goes, "Put it on the old person thing." I go, "What's the old person thing?" She goes, "Face thing, what the old people are on. None of my friends are on that. You can put it on that." So I
That's cool
posted
that
it.
she let you do that.
Yeah, she thinks no one will ever see it there.
So the part about you know, not talking to you guys, that's totally normal teenage behavior. Both guy and girl, but definitely girl. That's very normal. The part about not liking the pictures, not wanting you to post it. So there's a lot of people, I'm sure, out there that listen to the show or whatever and do follow us on social media, and they're like, "Hey man, why do you hate your wife?" Well, she will let me post about 1% of the pictures that I have of her. She hates me posting pictures of her and probably hates me talking about this right now. And I'm sure I'll get yelled at later. So that's just the way she's wired, who she is. She doesn't want any part of that. So she has to if I am going to post something of her, trust me, she has handpicked it. And that could also, like, there's a greater than zero chance Grace just grows out of that. But some people, like Maya did, you know, I can't remember the last time I asked Maya if I could post something and she said no. She's like, "Yeah, go ahead, whatever." But man, my wife she stonewalls everything, man. It's unbelievable.
Well, so look, some of that I understand, like, because I'm a fat guy. I don't want a belly cam picture. Like, we've talked about this sometimes in media, the way things are framed, it's a bad look. It's an unflattering look for people. And you can find very unflattering angles for me. I'm not crazy about those, so I get it. Like, I don't want, but I think also you can go too far to where, like, my sweet daughter, she looks beautiful. I'm like, I've never seen a bad picture of her, so I don't know why there would be some pics that she likes or doesn't like. And
because your opinion doesn't matter right now, because she'll be 14 tomorrow, and your opinion won't matter till she's like 18 or 19.
Right. And your wife is hot, man. She sent me some pictures that I love.
So I can't, the one she sent you, I can't post because they'll ban my account.
Okay. So do you want to tell the story about what happened this morning?
Yeah, it's brief. It's so me and my wife live downstairs and my kids live upstairs because I'm rich. And so I come up here to do the soaker twice. That's the only time I come up here is like Tuesday and Thursday morning. So I come up here, it's whatever, 9:30, and I see my son's room and the door's cracked and the light is on and I hear the water running. I'm like, "Gee, Desmond, you missed school this morning?" So I go in there, I go, Des, and I don't hear a response. And I'm like, all right, I should tell him I'm coming in. He could be naked. Des, I'm coming in, dude. And I walk in, all the lights are on. He's not in there. I look in the bathroom, the light is on. He's not in there. He left for school and just left the water running in his sink. And I'm looking at that going, how does that happen? Like, what? So I shot a video of it and I sent it to my family, and I was like, is there any reason that I'm unaware of? And keep in mind, it's 9:30. He leaves for school at like 7:30. So that thing's been running for 2 hours. Is there any reason that I should be aware of that I'm unaware of that the sink is running? His response, totally forgot about that. Thank you so much. I'm sorry. Forgot about what? You forgot to reach over and turn the water off when you were done with it? I said, forgot about what? Forgot to turn it off. Man. Okay, here's the other thing that I'm sure happened. I wasn't there, but I can only guess. He had his AirPods in his ear. He was bumping whatever J. Cole song. He was not paying attention. He was going through the motions of just brush my teeth, put on my deodorant, put the thing in the hair, and get out the door. And so he just turned the sink on, had music in his ear, and just walked out. And it reminds me of there's so many things that all of us, but especially teenagers, do where they're just running out the pattern and they're not paying attention to anything going on around them. And so that same person that I forgot to turn the water off. I just forgot. It slipped my mind to turn off the water in the sink after I was done using it. Then with AirPods in or whatever, walked downstairs and started driving a vehicle in that state of just, I don't know what's going on in this world. Woo,
Yeah.
woo. Teenagers are amazing creatures, man.
Yes.
God bless you, Des.
It's, it has been a great thing to kind of go through life with you, because we're at we're obviously the same age. We're at similar situations with our families and our kids' ages. And some of that stuff is comforting to hear, because you hear other people going through the exact same thing. You're like, oh, this is okay.
Yeah, this is perfectly normal.
And you know what's weird about that I've had to learn about, I've talked about this a little bit, is I didn't realize how much of the country is introverted. I think like half of humans are introverts.
Is that right?
Yeah. And I thought it was like, I just haven't been around it very much. So I was scared of it and thought it was like a disease. One of my kiddos is kind of introverted. And so I was thinking, man, that's going to be really bad not to have any people skills or ever interact with a person ever. And so that part of it is scary to me. But anyways, I have posted about it or asked questions about it. And then we have listeners who are going through like the exact same things, which is fun going through life with all of these listeners who are a part of what we do. And sometimes people will be like, I would post a question about parenting or something, getting advice on something on social media. And I'd see hateful people go, man, what a fucking shitty parent you are. Why are you crowdsourcing raising your kids? And it's like, because a lot of our listeners are like family, and I love them and respect them. And like, we've gone through shit like collectively. And if we can learn from each other, we don't have to learn every fucking thing the hard way. Mm-hmm. Any other updates?
No, I was just going to say real quickly, one thing that you can do if you're an introvert, marry an extrovert. My wife is about as introverted as it gets. Her life would be fantastic if she only interacted with 8 people that she's known for over a decade or more. She would be ecstatic if that was her existence. And then just marry an extrovert, and they'll go out and they'll do all the barking and everything. And it works out great.
Yeah.
Symbiotic.
Yeah. I do have one quick thing to tell you. We went to a holiday party the other night in the neighborhood with some dear friends of ours. And it made me think about when you said only people that you know really well. Our friend group is a really small group or whatever. But this particular Christmas get together, there was new people there, people that I didn't know. And we were talking to this. I was talking to this couple that has VRBO properties, and you still have your cabin in Broken Bow.
Yes.
We should promote that. Look, if you guys are looking for somewhere to go over the holidays or in the beginning of the new year, spring break, whatever it may be, Skin has a badass luxury cabin in Broken Bow. How do people find out about it and go rent it?
It is Y'all and the Tall Trees. I wonder if Jason, while he's doing all this, can go get the link and post it in the comment section. Maybe he can't. Yeah. It's okay if you can't. But it's Y'all and the Tall Trees, which Ben named.
love it.
And I love that name
Because Paul and the Tall Trees.
because my buddy Paul Shalda, Paul and the Tall Trees.
And your
But
cabin
yeah,
is
it's
surrounded by huge pine trees.
yes, and it's great, man. We're gonna try to get up there over the Christmas break a little bit, but yeah, go. I'll man, if Jason posts it, great. If not, I'll put it on social media later.
Yeah, blast. There's a Twitter account for it too. You can follow it. Wait, why was I telling that? Why was I talking? Oh yeah. So we're at this party, and this very nice couple is showing me they have what is the beachfront town near Houston?
Galveston or
Galveston.
Port Aransas.
Galveston.
What is it?
Galveston.
Okay. Yep.
And they have rental. Oh, look, there it is.
Hey, nice work, Jason.
Sweet.
Look at that hoe.
Yeah, you can click on that thing and you can go look at this cabin we're talking about and go book it. But they were talking about these rental properties they have, and they had like 4 of them, but one of them was the one they initially were going to plan their retirement there and go live in it. And, when you have a cabin or a house like that or beach house, whatever, you're proud of it. You pour a lot of money, resources into it. It's a scary thing because you need people to rent it to justify the cost, and so forth. And so they had one that was extra nice. It was super bougie, which my style. If I'm going to vacation, I only want to go bougie.
Right.
I don't want to go cheap on a vacation because I learned a lesson from your dad who said you can never make financial sense out of a vacation. Don't try to save money. It's never going to be a justified expense. Just go all out and have a great time and make memories and have fun.
Yeah.
So that's my approach.
It's a good approach.
And so I'm looking at their pictures of this beach house, and they're showing me what the living room looks like. And I'm like, oh my God, this is great. This is bougie. I would totally stay there. Now, Kat's used to this when she wants to. Kat is not bougie, and she's so frugal that she only wants to stay in a complete shithole that is cheap. And so we always battle with this over vacationing some places. And so I'm looking at this picture, and Kat walks up, and I was like, oh, Kat, look at this. I would totally stay here. Wouldn't I? Look at this. And I showed her the phone with a picture of the living room. And she goes, oh, hell no, you wouldn't stay there. She didn't know what the conversation was.
Right in front of those people.
Yes. And I was like, no, look again. This is their property. Look how nice it is. She was like, oh, yeah. Oh, you would love that. You would totally stay there. Okay, we're automatically, look, we're getting feedback on your cabin. Look, this is from Johnny, our guy. Johnny is a part of our team here. Oh, badass. Thank you, Jason.
Look at that.
Let's go through some of the pictures of this thing. Can you give us a tour?
Yeah, Ben, that is the fire pit with the swing. You can go down there and do s'mores. You'll see the string lights and those tall pine trees. That is the third. That is how many decks do we have? We got a lot of decks.
That swing is outside by the fire, but you also have a swing in the master bedroom?
Yeah, that's the sex swing. We turned that into a sex dungeon. That's the hot tub. Okay, so that's right there. That's the front, and the on the left, you'll see between that walkway, that we call that the stabbing cabin. So that's where you go in there and you make the most noise. But that's cool. That's like that's got its own separate. So like you can have a bunch of people over in the main cabin and then stay over there and like never have to deal with them unless you want to go to the kitchen. It's its own little bedroom, and there's the upstairs looking down at the palatial, and I do mean palatial environment. You'll see the big kitchen table there to the kind of the bottom left, so you can have big giant meals. And then there's also another table through that window. There's that breezeway from another angle. It sleeps comfortably. Let me think. 2, 4, 6. I would say it sleeps comfortably at least 10, but you can get 12. There's some bunks, but there's 3, master bedrooms, so to speak.
Yeah.
That have king
So
beds.
So the idea is 3 families go split the expense. If you have families that you're cool with, go on the vacation together and just split it 3 ways and get the kids away from the city. I mean, it's surrounded by beautiful trees, and there's fun stuff to do there. There's now a casino there. There's
yeah, it's close.
Yeah, there's a close casino. There's a beautiful lake there. There's hills there, and there are just trees everywhere. So really, really badass. And
It's
Cat,
good. It's fun. I haven't been there in a while. I need to get my ass up there.
Cat, we've stayed there, and that was bougie enough for me. And
Good.
I had a great time.
Yeah.
Okay, a couple things I want to get into. Again, invite your friends. Invite your friends. Share the link. Share the link. Hit the like button. We appreciate that. We're now up to 536 people here in our big season finale live stream of the Super Soaker. Bill Belichick. We're gonna switch to the Cowboys here. Excuse me. Bill Belichick accepted a college job yesterday. Is it official, by the way?
Yeah.
I think, okay. I'm surprised by this. I need to eat some crow on this. I thought that he was going to be the next head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. And I believe very much so that they considered it. And many years ago, we were at the Cowboys media party, and Stephen Jones was talking to like 3 or 4 people, and we're standing there, and he was talking about what good friends they are, and that Jerry has a great relationship with Belichick, and he has a great relationship with Belichick. And I was like, shit, why? How is that? Like, I didn't think about why that would be, but there was a close relationship there. And so now, when Jerry Jones, his football credibility is being questioned more than ever, and the greatest coach ever is sitting there, and you're an old guy, and you go with old people that you've had relationships with or that you know, you go with what you know. Mm-hmm. I'm like, is he going to take a young upstart whippersnapper, or is he going to go with the greatest coach ever who's available there? And I kept thinking that was going to happen. And then to pull the curtain all the way back, I may have alluded to some of this. Somebody reached out to me, I guess a few weeks ago now, or several weeks ago now, and said, hey, Belichick met with Jerry Jones last night, and they met at this location, and I heard it from a good source, and da-da-da-da. And I was like, oh, shit, this thing is heating up. So I started thinking that was for sure going to happen. Now, they may have just met because they're friends, or they may have met and Belichick may have pitched his wares and said what he would do, and they were like, no, thank you. Or maybe they never met. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't reliable. Maybe he was in town for some other reason, because he was in town. But I really thought it was going in that direction. Clearly it's not, so I was wrong about that. But luckily, I have been pushing 2 agendas.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the other, this is, I have 2 bets here that I've bet on. Now, if it wasn't Belichick, I still have another dark horse that I think it could be. I think it could be Jason Witten.
I like that. I think that makes a lot of sense.
So,
I mean, they won't do it because they're going to keep McCarthy, but I think that makes a lot of sense. You can convince me of that.
I think that, and so now that Belichick is out of it, and I was wrong about that, he took a college job, which is shocking. I think the main candidates are Kingsbury, Vrabel, Witten, Dion, Kellen Moore. I don't know. Maybe some others that we're not even thinking of, and I don't even think Dion is reality. But I do think you're right. I think it's very possible that McCarthy comes back. Aikman said it in the pregame show on 105.3 The Fan. He'd be shocked if McCarthy didn't come back. I'm paraphrasing. But Stephen Jones yesterday had some interesting comments where he said, I'm going to paraphrase him too, we don't have the cap space, and so this offseason is going to be very much like our last offseason. We knew we wouldn't have money to spend in 24. We're not going to have money to spend in 25. And so really it's going to be a cut and paste offseason. And that offseason where they didn't replenish the free agents that they lost, they really didn't participate in free agency, is one of the leading culprits for why this has been a shit show this year. There's been a lot of different reasons. But if you are not going to fortify the roster, and additionally, you're not hitting on all your draft picks. I think the Cowboys draft better than most teams, but lately they've missed on quite a few, and some of the earlier picks. If it's going to be a very similar offseason, I mean, shouldn't you just bring McCarthy back on a 1-year deal and just have a shit show season where, hey, if everything works perfectly, you make the playoffs, but most likely you won't?
I mean, so I don't believe that you do that in football, just because the nature of the game, you can completely reverse your franchise in 1 year, unless you're so inept that you've put yourself in a position because of years of salary cap mismanagement, you have to finally, quote unquote, pay the piper. And maybe that's what this is. And maybe if they had drafted better, they wouldn't be in this position. But and I don't know enough about salary cap gymnastics. I just know that when we were at the Fan and we would get our NFL reporters on and they'd say, well, you just flip a switch and move the money. And I'm like, yeah, that's not the way money works. Get a good look at the U.S. economy in 2008. You don't just flip switches unless you're the auto industry, and then we forgive them. So I was like, that's not how the cap works. Now I realize the cap goes up and there's ways that you can fix your mistakes, but eventually you have to do that. I think one of the things that probably like really hurt the Cowboys is when Zach Martin held out at the beginning of last year, because that was unexpected to them. And they had to move money around again to appease all of that. But they've been doing this for years, and it finally caught up with them. And, you know, the interesting thing is they couldn't even bite the bullet on Dak, because if they hadn't re-signed Dak, they would have been paying him what was it, $25 million next year not to play?
Yeah.
Like, it's just, there's been such a long history of moving that money around, and you can go back and you can look and go, oh my God, they really re-signed that linebacker that had rubber knees. Oh my God, they really gave a second contract to a running back when you don't do that. Those things, you know, they kill you 2 or 3 years later. So I don't know enough. I know that that's a constant in football, that cap management stuff. I don't know if they're just lying and they're trying to do a PR game with Micah. I don't know all that, but I just don't see how in a league like this you can put yourself in that position unless you're the Rams and you did win the Super Bowl. The Rams did it and won the Super Bowl and then started paying the piper. Mm-hmm. So the Cowboys they have a way of doing things. It's very frustrating to me. It's very frustrating to a lot of fans, but that's what we're going to get, and that will never change. So if you keep getting worked up over things that you know will not change and cannot change, at that point, that's kind of on you. You got to find your happy place and figure out what is or isn't important to you, because that will not change. We got a 30-year history of showing us that's what it's going to be.
Right. Switching gears to the Mavericks. Mavericks with the loss to OKC. You were there. You were sitting on the front row. You traveled to OKC to do that broadcast, and I was watching you, and like that was one of the best seats I've ever seen you have. You know, that broadcast team is right there on the floor. And so as I'm looking at Jason Kidd walking the sideline, there you are right next to him. So what were some of your observations of that game, and what's your takeaway from that loss?
So I think that was not an excuse. I mean, I think Oklahoma City is one of the 3 or 4 best teams, along with the Mavericks, along with the Celtics. Not sure if I believe Cleveland is. I think they are. But that was definitely, everything had caught up to the Mavericks. They were on an incredible run. I think that was a 7-game win streak. They had won 11 of 12, and we ran this graphic where they had flown almost 12,000 miles in less than a month. Not a single night in back-to-back cities. And we're talking about fly from Portland back to Dallas, play a game, and then fly to Miami. Like it'd been all over the map. Then go to Toronto. And it was just like, there was someone that's in the organization that is recently been in other organizations. He's like, I've never seen that in the NBA ever. So that's not an excuse. That's a reason. They can still go out there and win the game. Just because they had traveled doesn't mean you have that many turnovers in the first half. But for a game of that magnitude, with that kind of juice and what was on the line, they clearly were worn out. And I think if you just go watch the third quarter without even watching the rest of the game, I've seen it so many times. Like the second night of a back-to-back, coming out of halftime, a team just smash into a wall because they grinded through, they had adrenaline, and then they go back there for 12 minutes or whatever it is, and then they come back and they're not the same team. It happens all the time. That was just a monster version of it. That Oklahoma City defense is freaking awesome. It is awesome. And they're double teaming Luka, 50 feet from the basket. and the Mavs just didn't have it. And so a really badass team who the Mavericks had taken advantage of 2 weeks before in that same building. I think those are the main reasons they lost. I'm not even remotely concerned. I will say this. Being that close is fun. Man, the shit talk between Jason Kidd and Alex Caruso was awesome.
Really? Tell me about it.
Well, so they were Kidd was an assistant coach on the Lakers team that won the championship in the bubble, and Caruso was on that team. So I was watching them talk before the game. Frank Vogel, who's kind of a special assistant to Kidd, was the head coach of that team. And he was talking to Caruso, and he was on the trip, and he was talking to Caruso before the game. So they were all sitting there chit-chatting. It's all friendly. And then during the game, there was a moment where the ref was standing next to Kidd, and Kidd's back is to me, so I don't know what Kidd says. And Caruso's barking at the ref. And then Kidd starts barking at Caruso, and Caruso looks back at Kidd and gives him the FU. So it's like, all that stuff is awesome, man.
That's great.
I love all that. Because it's that world is such a tight-knit community. It's the same thing about, Belichick. Belichick may very well have been a candidate and they were seriously considering it, but like, those guys have been in the same world together for 30 years. In fact, I think Steven and Belichick were on the rules competition committee together, right? And so even if you're not allies, you're in social situations with those people all the time. I remember one time in Oklahoma City, I walked into the Skirvin bar and Carlisle was having drinks with Sam Presti. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. What does that mean? Well, it could mean something. Or it could mean they were sitting there talking about their kids. Like, who knows, right? It's such a unique, insulated world. But when that game starts going and you watch before the game and you see them all, shaking hands, and then like an hour later, they're cussing at each other. God, that stuff is awesome, man.
That's cool.
I love that stuff.
Good. Yeah, that's awesome. I love that. And that's not anything we would normally have access to. So that's cool that you were right there for it. So my thoughts on Oklahoma City is that rivalry is always going to come down to how the officials officiate a game where Lou Dort is extremely physical with Luka. I think he's one of them. I don't have the stats in front of me, but and not really anybody can stop Luka. But I think Lou Dort is one of the most effective defenders I've ever seen against Luka because he's so unbelievably physical. He's like a linebacker. And it's like the official has to decide, all right, is this a foul on Lou Dort on the first possession, on the second possession, on the third? Like, are you going to call every single thing, or do you just let him get away with being that physical? And I'm not saying that's why they lost the game. I'm saying Lou Dort did a phenomenal job of being extremely physical with Luka. They were doubling and tripling him, and it was a tough night for Luka. And I hate it. I hate watching it because I'm like, that's a foul, that's a foul, that's a foul. And Jason, I don't know if you have the graphic I made. I made this graphic last year of this man being a wrecking ball. I don't know. Is Jason even there? There he is. Okay, look, that's a foul. That's a foul. That his hand he's stopping him. Look at his muscle flexing. That is a foul. And look at Luka. He's like, I know that's a foul, but that is meek compared to what is happening all the time. But do you have the graphic that I made? This is my dalliance into graphic making. I don't know if he has it. Anyways, there it is. That is Lou Dort defense is a wrecking ball. He is a linebacker smashing Luka, and for whatever reason, the officials are conditioned to not call those fouls. And if you're going to call it, Luka's going to live at the line and the Mavs are going to do great. If you're not going to call it, it has the potential of being a long night. It just drives me crazy watching how physical he is with Luka. And somebody was asking me this the other day. They were like, is OKC the Mavs' biggest rival right now? And I thought, that's interesting. I've been thinking it was Phoenix because I hate Devin Booker, and to really be a rival, you have to square off in meaningful games or a meaningful series against one another and have it be hard fought and have there be bitterness and animosity and those things. But maybe it is. Maybe that is the Mavs' biggest rival right now. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, rivalries are born over time as well as the intensity of the situation. And so, everyone was talking about Phoenix being a Maverick rival because they played each other in the playoffs. And I think, Phoenix was a non-factor last year, and the Mavericks had an incredible series with Oklahoma City. So now more people are talking about it, being Dallas and Oklahoma City. For the longest time, the Mavs' biggest rival was San Antonio, but that was built over 15 years. Or they would say Miami because those two teams met in the finals twice, right? So all those things, tend to come out of either geography or the intensity of the matchups and the memory of those matchups. And right now, I would contend that the Mavericks and the Oklahoma City Thunder are the two best teams in the West, and they're going to have to go through one another to get to the NBA Finals. And so if they meet again in the playoffs trying to get to the finals, I think that'll certainly cement it. And then also, I think both teams have reasonably open windows when you look at what the runway is like in front of them. They're great matchups for sure.
This is a perfect segue before we get to the news bender. Do we think that Charles has some kind of bias against Luka? He constantly disrespects the team that just went to the finals and now has gotten better, but he refuses to put us in contender talks. Do you think Sir Charles has it out for the Mavs?
Did he have it out for the Mavs all last year when he said he thought that they were going to get to the finals? That would be my question. Remember, fans, when they don't say nice things about you, it's not always an agenda. Because if you go back to last playoffs, no one was talking up the Mavericks more than Sir Charles Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion on that.
By the way, Jason, do you have that video clip of Sir Charles? Because this was kind of a funny interaction. Jason, walk us through this here.
So I didn't see this live. I saw it this morning. This is so amazing. This is why this is the best show on television. Watch Shaq's reaction to Charles Barkley's comment. Play that bad boy.
I think Jay-Z or
probably not a good time right now.
You're silly, man. You're silly. You're wrong. You're silly, man. You're silly, man.
Go see if you can fix the wall, will you,
Fix the
Shaq?
wall, man.
Yeah, here, back here.
Fix the
I'll
wall,
go
man.
see if I can fix
My
the wall.
point was
Too soon, kid.
My point was, you think Kendrick Lamar? You think Jay-Z?
Oh, that's gold. That's absolute gold.
Wow.
So good. Do you like the idea of that just being a show that's on ESPN next year?
I love those guys. I love their chemistry, and I would watch them talk about just basically anything.
Yeah. I wonder, I don't know the programming schedule. Like, is it going to be on at halftime of ESPN games or when are they? I really don't know when they're running it, but man, I certainly love the chemistry of those guys all being together. It's great.
Yeah, I do too. Okay, so we've talked Belichick, we've talked Mavs, we've talked drones, we've talked about our kids. I think it's time for the news.
It's weird and wild. Let's see what's coming down the wire in the News Bender with pedestrian news fella, strip mall Steve Shackelford.
Steve!
Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening. Yes.
Where are you, in China?
That's right. It's a little bit ahead here. I'm in London, so we're on, I believe, Greenwich Mean Time currently.
All right.
We're going to get right to the news, though. All right. A reindeer gone rogue ran over two women. Where's my graphic? There we go. Thank you. A reindeer gone rogue ran over two women during a turkey trot in New York City. One of the women the reindeer ran over was a grandma.
Oh, man. I love animal in the wild videos, especially in like suburban or in this case urban areas, but I do never want to sweep. Was she actually in the turkey trot or was she just a bystander? Do you know?
I believe she was just a bystander. No serious injuries, so we're fine to make fun of her.
Okay, good.
Look at
And
that.
also reindeer don't seem like aggressive animals, I don't think.
I've never been around one that wasn't tranked.
Is that what they do when they take them to like petting zoos and stuff? They trank them up.
I'd imagine.
Yeah, man. Remember old school?
Yeah.
That's a trank gun. You got a dart in your neck. So were you in the tranquilizer game, Steve? Because you just used like lingo and vernacular tranked.
I just do a lot of interesting thing with animals. Once you're in the furry community, they just talk about it a lot. So I've learned a lot.
Okay.
That's as much as I'd like to say about the furry community.
Yeah.
Look at that grown-up newspaper boy running somewhere, kind of over the right shoulder of the grandma, your left, her right.
Yeah, that's a strange look on his face. And what's Santa doing? Is Santa rocking jeans and a
Cash.
vest?
Oh, that's
He's a New Yorker.
great.
All right, moving on. To keep with the holiday tradition, let's stick with the holidays. Gen Z is turning their backs on traditional Christmas dinner in favor of fried chicken, pizza, and cheesecake. Yeah, researchers found that over 67% of Gen Z also thinks their Christmas meal needs to be trendy enough to impress other TikTok or Instagram users.
Oh no.
This is, to me, like a really interesting conversation. It's the whole idea of tradition and who it is and is not important to. I was talking to a buddy of mine yesterday, about our age, a little bit younger than us, Ben. Excuse me. His kids are teenagers. And I was like, he lives in Nashville. I was like, what are you doing? He was like, man, I'm getting out Christmas lights and stuff. Just my kids don't care, but I'm just desperately trying to keep some tradition alive.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, there seems to be a lot of disinterest in tradition. And I saw a lot of this at Thanksgiving. I feel like there was a lot of stuff I saw on social media about, man, you don't have to have turkey. You don't have to have ham. You can do whatever. And that's kind of what this story is too. It's like young people being like, why do we have to do this? Why are we doing this? And to have traditions and keep them alive, there has to be some sort of connection from generation to generation. And as we continue, we see it in every walk of life, as we continue to get more fragmented, all of these traditions seem to really be waning. I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting to it.
No, I think you're right, and I hate that people are worried about it being looked at through the lens of social media and wondering what other people feel about it on social media. That would be a new trend and a new tradition that is absolute horseshit that I hate. I'd like to analyze this photo a little bit.
Yeah, man. What do you got?
The turkey on the left, or whatever that is, has got a lot of legs. It looks like the turducken thing or whatever that they do on the Thanksgiving Day football broadcast. The guy on the right has two right legs, I think, and one of them is in a suit, and one of them is in the pajamas of the guy in the middle, who looks like Tommy Miller, the head brewer at Rollertown Beer Works.
Oh, yeah.
And he just has, I don't know which leg that is of his. It looks like a long left leg of his over there. And they're doing it all on top of like a packaging container. They're like, it's something that you would have in your garage. I don't know what the AI thinks is happening here.
Are those guys on the outside? Are they twins?
Yes.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're eating twin meals, it would appear. They both have similarly laid out plates.
What
Listen to
food is
Steve.
that? What food is that in the middle? Are
I
those
don't know.
chicken nuggets? Are they corn fritters?
I love Steve commenting on the graphics in his news voice delivery. He's like, it does appear that they are. Like, it's serious.
It's a professional segment, all right? Ben? It's very professional.
Yes, very professional, yes.
All right, moving on. Let's keep it professional. Farting in front of your partner is good for your relationship. Studies have shown. Go
Wait,
ahead,
say that
Steve.
again. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Studies have shown that farting in front of your partner is good for your relationship.
That is a dope fart face.
That's why my wife and I have been together for 32 years.
So is he sticking his hand up through her with those peppers?
Oh man. And which one of them's farting? Because they're both not enjoying it. And what are those guys doing in the back? They're looking at his ass.
They're enjoying it a lot.
God, those are so many extras from The Sopranos back there.
Right. I feel like Steve has an urgent pace to this season finale. Like he's worried that somehow, for some reason, we're not going to let him get to all the stories he has.
Oh
What
my God,
stories?
we have-
There's just so many stories. I don't know what you're talking about. We've got plenty of time, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Okay, yeah, plenty of time. Plenty of time.
What
Plenty
is
of
that
time.
food?
Chili.
It's chilly.
Man, with that thing bubbling up in the middle.
It's a thick chili.
Yeah, it is.
no, man.
Yeah, it is.
All right, moving on. So, yeah, continue to fart in front of your partner there. It apparently helps you. Plastic surgeons are revealing an uptick in men seeking harder and more protruded nipples. Nipple injections are apparently popping up everywhere, and men seem to want in on the action now.
What do you get out of that? Ben, you're a nipple expert. What do you get out of that?
I don't know. I don't. Does it tell the ladies that you're open for business, and they're like, does it get them excited? You know, I don't know. That guy's got 2 nipples on one side, and all the pepperoni pizzas. There's framed pepperoni picks, and then just real pizzas, and then on the right side, it's just like really poorly made pizzas that aren't even round, but they're they're framed. They're up on the wall at least. I don't. And look, his shirt is open, but his collar is still on.
Yeah, and that is not a good length for the tie. Is all the pepperoni pizza a tribute to Pauly D being on the Eric Andre show?
I believe so. All right, and finally, we're going to get quick here. In an effort to make
Wait,
bowel
hold on.
movements.
You're saying, is this your last story? You thinking? You said finally.
Oh,
We
no, I
tell
mean,
you when the last story is, Steve.
you're right. Fine. Sorry. Continue on. Yeah, sorry. At any point, I'm ready to go. We've
All right,
got-
that's it for the news, everybody.
No,
Thank
in an
you,
effort-
Steve. Appreciate you, man. You were great.
He said, in an effort to make.
All right, here's what we as we wrap this thing up, we need to utilize Steve's musical abilities more.
Yeah, for sure.
If you have a specific topic that you want Steve to make a song for, put it in the comments section, and we'll see if Steve can do something special.
Yes. And
He's
man,
the greatest songsmith of our generation.
he is. He's a fucking genius. Yeah, man. And let's wrap this year, man. Just want to say thank you to everybody who is supporting us. You know, we're chasing dreams here, like the idea of creating the radio content and video content that we're doing on YouTube. It's hard, you know. Everything is evolving and changing in entertainment, and so we're just grateful for each and every one of you that supports us, and that goes for the brewery as well. The brewery business, very tough industry. When you see us at the store and you buy us, you see Rollertown at, you know, you're at H-E-B or Kroger, wherever you are, and you see us, you put us in your cart, that helps. If you're at a bar or restaurant and you order us, that helps. What are some of the bars and restaurants where we're at that we should mention?
Oh man. I guess, you know, it kind of depends on what part of town you're. I'll give you an example. I go to Fort Worth a lot because there's a studio out there I go to. Shout out to Nickel City, that only has it's a badass burger spot. I mean, it's more than burgers. It's a bar, and then they have really kick-ass sliders and wings and tots. And they have 4 bars on tap, and one of them is Who's the Hefe. And that's a dope spot right there in the heart of the near South Side area of Fort Worth. Shout out to them. Shout out to Fortunate Son, the dope pizza place in Garland that's getting lots of buzz. It's the same folks that did Good Friend in East Dallas. Both those places carry the Big German. Shout out to them. Shout out to Marty B's. I mean, what an incredible entertainment venue where they get so many people coming through, and they carry the Big German. That's incredible. Shout out to the Truck Yard family. The one in Dallas carries the Big German. The one in the Colony carries the 133. By the way, if you have not been to the brewery in a while and experienced the slow pour version of the 133, dude, that process turns it into a Czech Pilsner. And I don't understand the science because I'm not smart like that, but it changes the flavor of it in a way that is absolutely magical. Next time you go to the brewery, we now have cookies and cream War Daddy stout, so you got to try that, but you have to do slow pour 133 next time you're at the brewery. It's effing amazing. We're now, if you go to the Mavs game, you know, we've always been at the Chop Shop, Big German, and then you can get it at 13 locations inside the ACC if you're going to the hockey game or the Mavs game or going to a concert. You can now get the Big German in cans at Hero, that big giant spot right there, right off the plaza. So Man, there's places all over you can get that thing.
I was thinking the Nook in Light Farms,
Heck yeah.
Andrew's American Pizza Kitchen in Plano.
Yes.
Got a huge assortment. Pluckers, Cane Rosso, Jake's, so many great places. So to that end, it helps us when you order us, when you're at your favorite bar or restaurant, or if they don't have us, if you ask for them to carry us, that helps. But the number one way, I'll say there's really two ways, the two best ways you can help us. Number one is when you support us on social media. When you support Rollertown and you post about it, if you like the beer, if you like coming to the tap room, all of that helps. But maybe the biggest 1A, 1B way you can support Rollertown is by coming to see us in Salina, coming to the tap room. We're way far north, and so it's a long drive for people. But when you come to the tap room, that's what makes our business work. When you order beer in the tap room, you get beer to go, or you come get merch. Like, the tap room is the only place you can go to actually get our merch. We don't sell it online. And it's a great holiday gift, to get a Rollertown hat or shirt or pullover or hoodie or jacket or whatever. So anyways, thank you to everyone who's ordering us when you see us. Thank you to everyone who carries our beer. Thank you to the grocery stores, the people who put them in their cart. And thanks to everyone who's coming up to see us in Salina. And even though this is our season finale of the Super Soaker, we're going to be at the tap room a lot ourselves. And so if you want to hang out with us up there, we'd love to spend some time up there with you over the holidays. And we'll be running a lot of best of stuff and things like that on our show on the Eagle. But we'd love to have you come join us at the tap room in Salina.
Yeah, and so I'm looking over here in the comment section, Ben, and for example, Tommy G is one of our good buddies over on the 817 side. If you do plan on making that journey, hit us up and let us know, because we'd love to be there. I can tell you, Ben and I will for sure be there a week from tomorrow night on the 20th, because Ben and I are going to host Music Bingo, and we have something very, very special that we are releasing that day. Can't tell you yet, but a week from tomorrow, we are releasing something very, very special. So if you, want to make plans, if you're journeying from afar, one, let us know you're going to be there. Two, next Friday night, the 20th, Music Bingo. It'll be fun. Me and Ben are hosting, and then we have a very special release. So that will be dope.
Yeah. And I want to answer this. Daniel says, why does this sound so sad? This is not goodbye, is it, Ben? No, this is just our last one of the year, and I'm just grateful for you guys. Like, we can't do any of this without your support, and we love doing this. Make no mistake about it. So we want to keep doing it for many, many, many years. And this little YouTube adventure, this has been our first dalliance. When did we start this, by the way? What month was this? I'm terrible with that type
September, something like that. I thought we did it in September.
Okay, so we haven't been going very long, but we just wanted to dip our toes in it to kind of learn about it so we could launch super hard and erect something in the new year. So over the next couple weeks, when we're not doing these Super Soakers, we're going to be plotting and twisting our mustaches and devising a plan to take over the world at the beginning of the year. So there will be a bunch of big announcements coming out with regard to our YouTube channel and Iron Balls Productions once we get to 2025. So I think I'm just putting a bow in 2024 and just looking forward to 2025. So thanks to everyone who's making this a part of your routine. That's going to do it for us for 2024. Oh, we should probably send a shout out to Jake Vielma at the front desk. He's been undergoing some health issues, and Jacob, we love you. We love your brother, and we hope you're feeling better. Thanks for supporting the Ben and Skin Show. Thanks for supporting this. Thanks for supporting Rollertown. We out. Peace.
This has been another Iron Balls production.
Iron Balls!